like to blend operating a business with operating your life, because if you operate your life like a business and you know what routine you have, what to expect, what things are going on and happening, it's easy to adjust. Like, okay, this just isn't working. And this is why it's not working. So you know what to fix about it. You know, like if your schedule is just not working for you because you are constantly tired and overwhelmed, take a step back and evaluate your situation. It's the same aspect in business. If your business is not working, take a step back and evaluate it. See what is not working.
Good morning, everybody. Hello, and welcome to Streamline to Scale. It is lovely to have you here today. We've got the wonderful Sharon Kopp, who is going to be talking all sorts of ops with us, her endurance method, how she juggles operations of so many businesses, as well as an incredibly busy home life. And yeah, just really glad to have you here, Sharon. Thanks so much.
Thanks for having me. Excited to chat with everybody and talk ops. It's so fun. I love it.
You're a total ops nerd. Like, I love it. I love jamming out with Sharon on all things ops. She's been, essential, and she's one of our community leaders in this group. She's also just been around and a really great support and friend to lean on in regards to operations and everything going on with the business world. So I'm really grateful to have Sharon, but also to finally get to interview her in this group, because for whatever reason, I've taken my sweet ass time getting Sharon on this call with us. But now that we have her, we're not letting her go. Sorry, girl.
It's all good. It's all good. I'm ready.
All right, cool. So just so you guys know, a little background on Sharon. She is a sales and marketing operations expert who delivers a unique perspective through her endurance method. So she's generated over $3 million in revenue in less than a year running sales and marketing as an employee, and she knew she could do it for herself too. So working with startups in various industries, including healthcare, SaaS, cybersecurity, and wellness, the strategies and systems she uses help balance the stress of life and grow a business. So her clients can be found globally on the Inc. 5000 and have won countless awards. She has some really impressive roster of clients. And also just, how she's built her own business. Sharon is a operations genius. So she originally started her business due to an unpaid maternity leave, actually. So she took her skills and created a system to ensure that anyone could succeed easily. So she's really passionate about helping her clients learn the operational strategy they need to run their life and their business, no matter what life presents them with. So Sharon here is a freaking rock star, you guys. Like, she is baller.
Thank you.
Excited to get to talk ops with you today. So I know, like, I've heard a little bit about your background, got to experience you, but could you just give us a little bit more about tell us about your journey and how you got into operations?
So I started off selling wine. It's great. Love to drink it. My parents have always made it. Worked at a winery. It was awesome. Mom and pop winery. I wanted to make more. I wanted more, and that really wasn't going to happen. So I have a medical background. I went to school for nursing. My clinicals away from having my nursing degree, but I didn't want to be a nurse. So I went into medical sales, and I worked as a director of sales and marketing for a compounding pharmacy. The pharmacist was like, sure, here's what I want to do. Go find me business. So I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. I had uncapped commission, so I could go make as much money as I wanted. And I was like, this is awesome, but I had to figure it out. So I did a lot of Google search. I had no book of business. I had to build a route, a sales schedule, figure out what I needed, went in and talked with the prospects, and okay, I need this in order for them to buy. Okay, I need this in order for them to get from me. So I just started doing the marketing aspect of it. And then I started to be successful at it. And I needed to make a repeatable process so then I could hire other people. And that's kind of really where I found the operations side of things, because I needed to replicate my success and how I was supposed to teach somebody else what I was doing, which I had to then take a step back and look at it and be like, okay, we had $97,000 in revenue. December. And then the following December, we were at over 3 million. So over that year, I had exceeded my $1 million goal by $2 million. And I was like, I have to replicate this so I can hire people and we could continue to grow. So that's where I really fell into the process side of things, because it was through trial and error that I figured it out. But then I had to be able to teach somebody what I did. And when you're an on the road salesperson and then you're doing both computer work and the actual work, it was like, okay, I need talking points, I need materials. I'm driving people to a website, to a Facebook page. I'm driving traffic through people coming in the store. All of these areas, what's working, what's not working, what messages is working, what's not working, what am I saying that's working and not working. So kind of that whole aspect of sales and marketing, I put it together and made that repeatable process, and then kind of fell into ops that way. It's not really like the prettiest story, but from there I was able to replicate it. And, the people that I was training and teaching were having success. And then it was, your typical, let me hear your pitch. Let's go over this. Okay, this is the words that you're using and not using. And, just kind of from there, kind of fell into it. So it's not, something I ever really thought about that this is what I was going to do, but it worked. And then I just really liked that side, because then I could see, hey, this worked. This is why it worked. This is awesome. And then like, oh, this is why it didn't work at the same aspect of it. So I really wanted to know both. Okay, well, why didn't it work? Oh, okay, well, this is what needs to change to make it work. So it was just interesting, a little bit of a different journey. And then, tracking and metrics using a CRM system, and then trying to actually follow out more data, like, okay, well, how long does it take to close? So if I'm expecting quotas, what am I expecting from, start to finish, from first touch point to, first sale, and everything that goes in between. Is it a multi-channel approach? Is it a single approach? What works in that whole facet? Because it's not just one thing. It's not just, I saw this awesome ad one time from one person and I bought it immediately. That doesn't typically happen. And, maybe it does for a pair of shoes, but, not so much when you're, selling higher ticket items, or you're building a relationship and you want a continual sale. So you're forming a bond with somebody. So it was all those aspects that really, took charge. I wanted those people to keep buying from me, because the more they bought from me, the more money I made in my commission. So of course I want to foster a great relationship, and I want to see what's going on with it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I love that journey of like kind of learning while you're doing, but also like seeing like what you're doing, and being able to, systemize so that you can, scale it out. And like, that's so valuable. And like being able to grow the sales for that company, but also, for your own business and life, and kind of putting those processes together. So I love that. And the shoes thing, like I still sometimes have to look at shoes once or twice before I love shoes, and, I still need to get hit by a couple ads before I'm all in, but sometimes. But yeah, that's really cool. So, what is it that you love most about operations? Like, what's your jam about it?
I love it because it allows for a little bit of consistency and flexibility. You need to have both, but when you know what to expect, or a system or a process, if something goes wrong, you know what to fix. And if you have that flexibility built into any system or process or schedule, you have room for the unexpected when something happens. So I really like that. And I like to blend operating a business with operating your life, because if you operate your life like a business, and you know what routine you have, what to expect, what things are going on and happening, it's easy to adjust. Like, okay, this just isn't working, and this is why it's not working. So you know what to fix about it. Like, if your schedule is just not working for you because you are constantly tired and overwhelmed, take a step back and evaluate your situation. It's the same aspect in business. If your business is not working, take a step back and evaluate it, see what is not working. And, that's kind of the first step I look at in any process. And that's, the first E in my method is the evaluation, because if you don't know, then you can't fix it. And if you don't know what's wrong, or you don't know a process, then make one so you can figure out what's not working, so you know what is working, so you can enjoy so much more. And it's just such a big piece that people overlook and miss. And I think it's so critical in anything that you do, not just, operating your business, but everything, so kind of like that part most about it.
Absolutely. It's huge. Like having those systems and processes set up, and like just the automation side and everything. I know you're a wizard at this, and you've kind of touched on it. Like you do a lot with your home life too. Because you've got, a super busy home life. So like, how do you, like, what kind of automations and systems and processes do you set up to, manage the home life, but also for the business? Like what's your sauce, your secret sauce?
So I like to automate as much as I can realistically. So reports, like any reporting that you want to sit down and look at, you can automatically export most reports into an email system. And then from there, they can be exported into Excel, they can be exported into Sheets, they can be exported into whatever tracking system you're using. They can be exported from your CRM system straight to your email. So you're taking time to look at them and reminding yourself, oh, crap, this email came with all of this, I need to look at it. Okay. If you're setting something up for your business and it needs to go to teammates, it needs to go to investors, it needs to go, wherever, you can automate that process so that those things are really easy. I mean, you can automate your welcome emails, and you should have those sequences and everything built in and put in, but there's so many other automations that people don't think about, like reporting and triggers. Like if a number falls below a certain threshold, and you've got like an automation set from a reporting system to an Excel sheet, and it's tracking something over time, or into your PM software or whatever you're doing. Once it falls below a certain threshold, you can also have like a trigger to be sent out to say, hey, like your leads have dropped to below whatever threshold it is that you want. You're not, something's not working, something's wrong. So that could then trigger you to say, okay, I need to review this. This is something that's going to cause further problems down the road, instead of just saying a month later, oh man, I wish I would have known when that wasn't working. So I could have not wasted money, time, energy, and, on whatever wasn't performing. So those were some of the automations that I think a lot of people don't think about when they're looking at setting different triggers and flows up for their business. So much of that reporting is critical. And it's there. You just have to know where to look for it, or set it up once, and then you don't have to do it again, and it's done. So it makes it a lot easier.
I especially love that. Yeah, I especially love the one that you're doing with like the triggers for the, threshold for leads dropping and things like that, because like a lot of businesses are spending a lot of money on ads. And if you don't know that it's broken, like I know some people like look at it every single day and they go through all these things, but if you could have it automated in a way that you're able to understand when it's broken, and like you need to actually like take a look at it, what's going on there, it saves people a lot of money. And then in time, and the welcome sequence too, like I know that's something that like even I'm struggling to put it in. I need to put that in for myself. It's just like the welcome stuff, but so many people, it's amazing how they don't have that. I know we've talked about certain masterminds that don't have that, and communities, and it's like the thing is like you go back to your email to look for your logins, to look for your payment notifications, to look for all these things that are often missing. And then it's really confusing for the buyer. They're like, who do I have to reach out to? Like just a simple email, like telling them, this is our support information, this is what to expect, that kind of stuff. It just goes a long way. So I think those are super, super important. And I am curious, like you've talked a lot about the reporting, but like what are the top reporting automations that you tend to set up for people?
Top reporting automations. It really depends on what system they're using, and what their business is. where their ads are, if they're doing ads, it kind of depends, because it's not just like one single type of business that I'm working with, or where they get their leads or anything from. Definitely one of the main things that I like to set up is always their reporting on projections for profit, and where they are with their sales, and then with how many new leads they've generated. Most businesses just count on new leads to obviously grow their business. So I like to really set up like those weekly, who is your new leads that came in? Were they followed up with or not? Like, that's a huge piece of it. Like, if you're getting an influx of leads, if you're not following up with them, then that's a problem. So I'm going to automate that report that says all these leads were followed up with, because if you see leads aren't being followed up with, why? Are they disqualified? Are they somebody missing the notification? Is a team member just not performing? So that's like a really key piece that I think is important. And it also depends on who's getting them. Sometimes the CEO of the company doesn't want to go into all their systems and tools. They just want something that's sent to them with like, this is our pipeline. This is it weekly. So I'll have it set to go from the CRM system to email, from email to Excel, then create that new sheet in Excel, and then automate the email right to them what this is done on a weekly time, because that's such an easy thing to set up that will take like one more task off of somebody's plate to do. Those are a couple of like the main ones. I mean, emails for sure, definitely. Somebody filled out a form, they requested a demo, they want more information, always an email after that. And then from there, it really depends on the business. Is it going to round robin? Does it need to go to a person? Do they need to fall into a sequence after that? So then the segmentation happens from there too, which is, more of that automation. Where do they need to fall? Does it go into this category? Does it go into that category? Is it a business? Is it a person? Then from there, you can break it down even further, but it really just depends on everybody's business. Operations is simple, but it's unique to everybody, because everybody's business operates slightly different. Everybody's needs are a little bit different, and where you're getting your leads may matter. And then the type of information that you're putting in, some people might not care about one piece of information, but another company might care about that piece of information. So it really just kind of depends. That's a really long way of trying to say, I set up a lot, but it really depends on what you do.
Well, I think that's the thing. Those operations can be, it's similar, but it's customizable. It's for the business and their unique needs. And you're just finding ways to, automate and systemize the reporting and, the operations of it unique to that business, because every business has different metrics that matter more to them. I mean, we have our baseline metrics, but we also have other, ways that we operate and ways that we, connect with our community and our people that are a little bit different in every business, and, different software, different tools. So it's just really helpful to have that. And I think that, I think that's really important. I think the segmentation, everything, like there's just so much you can do when you really dial in those pieces of your business. You understand your leads better, you understand your community, your customers, all that good stuff. So I love it. I am curious, like, in terms of like processes and stuff, like, because you're a very process-driven person, both in business and in life. I'm curious, like, what do you see businesses are lacking the most and could use improvement? And I'd also like to hear one from your personal life that you do with the home life to keep this balance you've got.
Most businesses, I mean, honestly, unless you're in the direct response world, nobody understands the welcome email. When you're a business, especially if you do B2B and you have a person signing up for your newsletter or downloading your information, that is the only time you should be talking about yourself. Like that is the key. Talk about me, because you never talk about you. You shouldn't be. It's always about the prospect and what you can do for them. And you incorporate that into that email too. But you've got to have that. It's so key in building that first connection and that relationship. And I think that's huge that so many people miss, because it's got to be there. And it's so overlooked in the business to business world, but in the like influencer or like the direct to consumer, or that direct response space, that's really the only place you see it. I mean, when was the last time you got a personalized email telling you about a brand when you sign up for something from that brand? Like, awesome, I like your energy drinks. Why'd you make them? Like, we're a much more different consumer driven world today, where so many people want that connection, and they will stand behind companies and products. Like, I don't like Nike because they endorsed Michael Vick, and I love pit bulls, and that makes me angry. So, I mean, even when you go to something like that, it's so small, but like, what are your values? Who are you as a company? Who are you as a person? That's the time that you talk about yourself. And that's so overlooked. And I think it's really needed, because they want to know, what's your value prop? What is it that you're trying to do? Like, that's the time where you just say, I just really love helping people. So that's why I love doing what I do.
I think that's huge. And I just want to like throw in there, it's like, it's them getting to know your personality. It's like, you have the most attention span right in that moment. Let them get to know your personality and why they should continue to open your emails, what you're offering them, what you're helping them with, why they should continue working with you and following you. I mean, we are competing on attention. That's a huge piece of it. So aligning on values, aligning on that connection, that personality, it makes a big difference. So, and I like that Michael Vick example, because F that.
And then I think something at home, like, just like, there's always routine and process. And I think it's easier when you have kids or when you're busy, because you put that routine and process in place. But think about it, if you work out every morning and you miss like a week because something happens, it's so hard to get back into it. Like, it's just the fact of the nature. Like, you just got to make yourself do it. But like, even eating, like, I usually don't eat lunch while I'm sitting at my desk, because I'm pretty hardcore from 9 to 3 at my desk, because that's when my tiny giants are at school. So I don't usually eat lunch, but like dinner, there's always a time for dinner, whether that's at 5 o'clock or 7 o'clock, depending on if I'm at the football field, or if I'm at a martial arts studio, or if I'm at the fire department or a school board meeting, or any of the other things that I volunteer at too. But it's still just a simple plan, so you know what to expect. Like, my kids know that no matter what, we are not walking out the door past 8 o'clock, because they have to be at school. Early as they can get is 8:10. Traffic happens, so they know that we like to leave no later than a certain time. They have to be there by 8:30, no later, but basically by 8:20. So they know, okay, I need to allow for some error, some mistakes, some traffic, something unexpected. But they know that. I mean, they just turned 6 and 9, and they know what time they have to leave, because that's what we do. That's our system, because if you put a system into the house, it works. It makes things flow so much easier. If I didn't have a system or a process, I wouldn't be able to volunteer at the fire department. I wouldn't be able to volunteer I'm voluntarily on the school board, because it's a private school, not a public school. So I volunteer for that position. And then I wouldn't be able to take them to their sports, and then still be able to work and function, take care of clients, and have a job to do, and do everything. It wouldn't flow if there wasn't some process to anything that you do.
Yeah, Yeah, I absolutely. Like, I think that's huge. And like, I think it's really impressive how much you get done with how much you have going on too. Like Sharon's also this person, by the way, guys, who is sitting at the football game in her car redoing her website because she's always finds these little tiny moments to work, and she goes hard. She gets a lot done. Like, and having those like systems and that process dialed in, and that routine, it makes it, like you said, your workout or whatever it is in your morning that, keeps you on a routine. It is such a, game changer, because once you're off of that, it kind of throws everything off. Business feels off, life feels off. But if you can keep your routine, it just helps you, kind of reach new levels, but also get things done without having to think about them. And I think that's the biggest thing, is like being on autopilot, and just automating pieces of your life so that you can have more time for the presence and the moments that really matter with your family, in your business, with your clients, your colleagues, your loved ones, everything. So I think that's really huge. And I know a lot of the automations and work that you do and set up for you and your business and everything you've been diving really into the AI side of things. And I love hearing your AI like insights and tools and stuff. So I'm curious, like, what are some of the top AI tools that you are using in operations right now?
I use them for help with creation of SOPs. I've got some random apps on my phone that I use. I keep playing with the different ones. I've got some like add-ons that I use. I've got like a bookmark AI tools that are used for different things, but somebody from, I don't know, somebody on LinkedIn uses a bunch of things and he puts them out there, and I've just got them all saved. But there's a couple ones that you can use for redoing, taking like videos like this or speeches and presentations and having them clipped down and redone. There is different ones that you can use for descripting things and making things function a little easier, as far as like whatever project management tools you're using. There's add-ons to Google Sheets, to Excel, for anything that you're using. So you can use it right within the tools as well. So if you're using like a Google Sheet, you can have the AI add-on right there.
What does that do? Like, what kind of add-on, like, what would it do for me?
So instead of like having to go to like, let's go, just since everybody knows ChatGPT, instead of going to ChatGPT and then copying, pasting, you can have the add-on right in the sheet. You can use different codes and hooks into Excel formulas, because that's all about operations. And you can have that go in right to your Google Sheets, and you can trigger it for buying signals. And then you can like copy and paste code down, and then you can set up more automations for those buying signals to be notifying you. So that's something that's a little bit more advanced and more for like that B2B sale. That one's kind of cool, pretty neat to use.
Interesting. Yeah, I would be curious to see how you're doing that, because that would be, I mean, it'd be quite a, like, is it, I guess, is it different than like CRM and like email automation stuff, in that, like, how they're being triggered? You don't have to give all the
Yeah.
deets, but I'm curious, like, what are you looking at there?
Yeah, I can actually put a link to it or send it to you.
Love
I
to
did
see
not make that one. Somebody else did. I learned it from somebody else. And I've got a list of several tools that you can use for AI, or that are all the AI tools, depending on what you want to do, like what the magic with it is that you want. It could be all sorts of things. So it really it kind of depends on what it is.
Yeah, I would be curious to see that. I would love to see your list, because like I've started a list on mine of hello, of AI tools and stuff. Hi. I was just saying, sorry, I was just saying hi. I've started a list on mine, and I bookmarked the AI tools that people are recommending and that I'm seeing around that work really, are really useful. I know some people are using like Make and Chat GPT as like an assistant. I think like Aidify kind of gives YouTube descriptions and breakdowns, and there's so many of them that like I feel like, man, all of a sudden it's just exploded with all these tools to automate everything for us. And it's just cool to hear like how you use them and what you're finding is, some of the best tools out there. Like, because I mean, especially with the one you're talking about, like if you're using Sheets and ChatGPT and you're using that for your content calendar, I imagine you can also quickly create and easily, what you can do with like Notion and other ones too, they use AI that you can create a content calendar and just put in some prompts and it'll fill it out for you. So it's just interesting how much is being saved, but also like the things that we're going to be doing now that now that all this time is freed up. So, with more of that free time, you have a lot more like innovation time, which, translates into more home time as well and more family time for you. So I'm curious, what are some of the things that I know we've talked a little bit about how you like kind of systemizing your home life, but I'm curious how like a lot of this kind of translates into optimizing the home life more and everything else you have going on. So you're managing that and all the biz.
Kind of like the same thing with, the processes and things. Hold on one moment. Well, that's okay. The neighbor borrowed the printer.
Neighbor.
One of those awesome things about Bluetooth, you just hit the button.
Oh my gosh, like when people like airdrop like they like photos to you and stuff. Oh, that can
Yeah.
but yeah, airdrop some stuff to Sharon's printer tomorrow.
So I mean, when you use like AI for things, you're what are you ultimately using it for? For research, for shortening like whatever you're doing, your research or content, like you're stuck, let me just put something in here to give me ideas. So kind of like that same thing, like when you take that to your life, like, okay, what takes up so much time or what do I really hate doing? And I'll use laundry for the example. I've got 2 dogs, I've got 2 kids, we exercise, we have sports, they wear uniforms to school. I hate doing laundry and I always have so freaking much of it. So no matter what, I have a system. Every night a load goes in the washer, every morning it goes in the dryer. I never have a pile of laundry because it's done. It's just like autopilot. I take the kids to school. I will not work and my house is typically always clean because I come home, I vacuum the floor because I have 2 dogs. It has to be done every day. I clean out the coffee pot, make my cup of coffee, whatever it is. And then I sit down, like, the dishes are done then. I don't put off doing things because I don't want them to pile up. Then it's not done. Then there's issues. So as long as I just do them, it makes things easy.
I find that too. And that like, I always have a little bit of time in the morning that I spend cleaning up, putting things away, getting organized, because when your environment is clean and organized, it makes it easier for you to be creative and produce and have the kind of juices and flow that you need to be able to do this kind of stuff. Because, most of the time operations, you walk into them and they're not that, they're quite messy, let's be real. So it's nice to at least have something around you that's clean. So I think that's really cool. I think that's cool.
Yeah. So just kind of systemizing your life kind of helps too.
It really does. It really does. Having that routine, having those systems in place, it's just a big difference. So
I call it never procrastinating. Like if you never procrastinate, and because then what's it do? It stresses you out because you're like, man, I put this off. Then you're pissed off at yourself. Like, why did I wait to do that? Like, I knew I needed to do it. So just freaking do it.
It just takes just a couple minutes. It takes a couple minutes to get it done. And also like, think of it like this, is like, you're also moving, like you're getting some movement in while you're doing it, which moving energy, moving anything is always good for getting the juices flowing, so yeah, just freaking do it. That's Sharon's, wait, we can't use just do it because it's Nike. So let's
just get it done. That was one of the things that kind of started this like whole process of well, because everybody always asks, how do you do everything you do? And I was like, man, I just get it done. Like, there's not another option for me.
Yeah.
I have to. So that's kind of like why I put the structure around how I approach operations. So that's, why I start with like that evaluate piece. And then you've got to endure the challenges and the change, because life is always changing. That is the only constant in life. So if you can endure everything in the middle, it makes it so much easier.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And like, just removing that, like, I mean, I guess it's like you can either sit and think about it and worry, or you can just get it done and be done and move on and get the rest of your shit done for your life. Because everybody has a lot going on. Everybody's incredibly busy. None of us are unique in that way. There's not somebody sitting around, well, maybe they're sitting around dilly-dallying, I don't know, but not in our world, that's for sure.
100%.
We're motivated people, especially. It's there's a lot of things going on all at once. So I really appreciate you sharing all these systems with us and some of the tools you use and stuff too. I would love to see that AI list that you have, because that I'm very curious about, like, what you have and how you use it. Because I'm always looking to improve in those areas and get a little better.
There's literally 1,000 like AI tools you can use. So there's really not one consistent one I've really been using, with the exception of like maybe Chat GPT, just because I want to, that's part of my curiosity too. I want to know how this one works. I want to know how that one works. I want to know what this one integrates with. What does this one integrate with? How does that one work? Can I automate this one? Like, Canva's got AI, Airtable's got AI, Notion's got AI, Google's got AI. Google just came out with their, AI. You've got all these different tools that are just at your disposal. Like, there's ones for SEO. There's ones for specific for email writing. Then you can classify them for everything that you want. Okay, there's these ones that are just for fun. These ones for writing stories. There's they're endless for what you can do for descripting videos and pulling them into shorts. There's ones for Instagram, there's ones for Facebook, there's ones for LinkedIn. There's just a plethora of them that you can use.
How do you feel about the direction and like this incredible amount of AI tools that we have now? They are so great for productivity and everything. But how do you feel about like how much it's taking over in other ways?
There still always has to be a human element to everything. So no matter what it gives you, it's still doesn't quite have that human element. And you still have to prompt it to give it that human part. You still have to tell it what you want. So no matter what, you still have to have that human element to it, which kind of goes back to that welcome email that companies and people are missing. You have to have that personality touch to it. You can prompt it to be like a person. You can prompt it to take a deep breath and tell it to write better. I mean, like, there's stupid things that you can do like that, but you can literally tell it to take a deep breath and it will give you better work because of the calming aspect of it, which is nuts because they're training it like a brain. God, I don't know if I read it somewhere that like 2 robots started talking to each other, so it was like shut down. Like they had robots at a football game, like 2 robots in the stands. So weird, so bizarre. And it really just makes me think of I, Robot, the movie with Will Smith. Most movies and things have kind of happened. We can go down the rabbit hole with reality creation and manifestation and all that stuff. But somebody has thought of these things and dreamt of these things. And a lot of the things that have happened in movies have happened to an extent in real life. So, I think as long as you take it for what it is and know that you still have to have the human element in it, And I think more people are going to be looking at and towards that human aspect of interactions. That's why so many people like to go to events and retreats and masterminds and in-person things, because we are humans. It's in our nature. We still crave that human element.
Yeah. Yeah. I absolutely agree with that. And I think, I still personally like to, I know there's ways that I could use assistance and use AI and all these things that I wouldn't need to be paying somebody. But I like having my right hand that I can lean on, that I can talk to about things, I can talk things out with, and having that human element. Like, I give them all these tools that they can use. They can use all kinds of AI. I use a little, but I still like having that a person and a human element to it. And I think, I think that's one thing that a lot of people are missing, is especially when it comes to like copy and stuff like that. I know people are are really worried about that and getting replaced and everything, but there is always still that human element, and somebody who needs to make those, whatever
At some point, people, I think a lot of us marketers know what words AI uses. So you can tell if something was written by AI, if it wasn't properly looked over by a human and altered. But I think more people will start to play a part into looking at that, because AI will spit out things and use lots of key words within the AI. So I think that's, if those who don't know yet, once they do catch on, why is everybody saying, give me a real life experience, and not using transition words properly? That all plays a huge part into it. So that's why, again, like that human element is so key and critical. But, just like anything, you have the bell curve. You've got the early adopters who will learn and understand. You've got the mass, and then like the late people who come into it. But, all those early adopters and the upside of the bell curve, they're already going to know and be moving on to the next thing. And as they're learning and knowing, they're going to be the ones who are far exceeding and excelling, because they're growing as they should, and still putting that personal touch on it that so many people and consumers want now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We're competing on attention. Like it's, you have to be authentic, and you have to, give people human, show them your human side. You got to give that human interaction to really grow. So yeah, this has been really cool. Thank you, Sharon. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Is there anything else that you wanna share with us today? I know we've got some more calls coming up, you and me jumping on some stuff, which has been really fun. By the way, we did a really cool SOP one where Sharon shared her SOP prompts that she uses for AI on. So check that out.
Yeah. If you have any questions, let me know. That's really about it. Yeah, I really enjoy my unique approach to operations. There's so many pieces to operations, but when you add them all up into a system, it really makes things easy. And a lot of that transfers over to your life too. If you have a chaotic business, you probably have a chaotic life. And if you just step back and evaluate both of them and look at what's working and what's not working, and automate what you can, and you don't procrastinate, and you have that universal open mindset to everything, that's where everything shines through, and it makes life easy. Ops doesn't have to be hard, it doesn't have to be complicated. You can make a streamlined process so that you can scale both your life, your business, and you can do it with ease and grace, and be happy and peaceful.
I love that. And you're the queen of that. You're always like chill and calm, even when things are on fire. That's Sharon for you. So
I try, because you got to accept what happens. If you get stressed out about it, it's just going to make it worse. So everything that's bad is good. You got to look at the good in it. Yeah, some things might be pretty crappy, but what's the good in it?
Yeah, I like that. You do a lot of that positive side and bring a lot of positivity to, my life and my mind too. When things are tough, it's like, Sharon's like, yeah, but it's really not that big of a deal. So you're really good at that. And I appreciate it. I appreciate having you in my world and getting to learn from you and talk to you and all the support you've given me. So thank you.
Well, thank you. And yeah, awesome. We'll talk to everybody soon. If you have any questions, comments, shoot them in the links and we'll get back to you.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's a wrap, guys. Thank you so much, Sharon, and thank you all for watching.
Yay.
Have a lovely day.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.